But I want you to guess what his deflection from all of this was.
Anti-Semitism. I swear to God, I haven't watched this video yet, but anti-Semitism.
Okay, here it is. When asked during the campaign about allegations of inappropriate workplace sexual activity, Minor blamed the reports on anti-Semitism and claimed that colleagues were motivated by his pro-Israel stance.
Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We have brand news for y'all today. So, I guess freedom of speech is gone. I've been talking about this, but for some reason, people don't seem to really pay attention a lot. Especially, I hate it when people say, oh, I don't want to get involved in politics because, they're all corrupt. And yes, they are all corrupt. But the fact that you don't want to get involved in politics, that is what is leading us to this. All right. If you don't know what today's topic is going to be about, pretty much you can no longer criticize the government, I guess. Freedom of speech is under attack, and they've been talking about this for quite a while now. And now, well, let's watch this together, and I'll give my thought on it.
So here we are, 2026, a Facebook post criticizing the government can now potentially land you in jail.
Picture to make sure it's you. We're not sure.
Okay.
Is that your account?
I refuse to answer questions without my lawyer present. So I really don't know how to answer that question
Okay.
either.
Well, like I said, you're not
This
going
is
to jail.
freedom of speech. This is America, right?
And
We're veteran.
And I agree with you 100%.
All
We're
right.
just trying to see if it's you, because if we're not talking to the right person, we want to go see who the right person
Okay,
is.
how can I help you?
So pretty much it's just a statement that was made as far as
Verbatim, it says the guy who consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians tried to shut down a theater for showing a movie that hurt his feelings and refuses to stand up for the LGBTQ community in any way. Even leaves the room when they vote and on related matters. Wants you to know that you're all welcome. Clown face, clown face, clown face. 3 days ago.
So you don't know if it was you?
I'm not going to answer whether that's me or not.
Okay.
The concerning part, and not concerning for the person who's posting it, what we're just trying to prevent is somebody else getting agitated or agreeing with the statement. We're not saying it's true or not.
Understood.
That guy who consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians, that can probably incite somebody to do something radical. That's all we're here to talk about. And we wanted to get your side. If it was you that posted that, I would think to refrain from posting things like that, because that could get something
I
incited.
appreciate your concern. I appreciate you coming out here.
Okay?
That's it?
That is
So let me get this straight. The fact that she's pointing out that you have a mentally ill person who is on social media saying that all Palestinians do not deserve to live, they got the police at her door for that? But why? I mean, I assume that they were at the door because she was calling for violence or something, which makes sense. If somebody calls for violence, yeah, they should probably look into that person and say, hey, what's going on? Why are you calling for violence? Just in case. I'm not calling for any violence. All right. I'm just here to spread the news and to teach you guys what I've known. Not what I've known, but what I'm learning on the internet. And this whole thing doesn't make any sense.
it. I'm going to maintain my amendment rights to not answer the question about whether that's. I hope that's
Thank you for your time.
understandable.
We appreciate it.
Thank you
Have
as
a good
well.
day, okay?
You as well. Thank you. Take care.
Did that post make any of you guys feel unsafe? Or do you feel more unsafe that the police could possibly show up at your doorstep unannounced because of some social media posts that you made? First, let's take a look at that post to see if it really was inciting violence, okay? Here's what it says. Quote, the guy who consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians tried to shut down a theater for showing a movie that hurts his feelings and refuses to stand up for the LGBTQ community in any way, even leaves the room when they vote on related matters, want you to know that all are welcome here. Clown face, clown face, clown face. 15 total likes on that post, so it's not like it went super viral or anything.
Right.
And the post is referring to the mayor of Miami
That's not mine, by the way. That's his recording.
Beach, Stephen Minor, who is an ardent supporter of Israel. Look, you can feel however you want.
There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to take that back. There you go. Now it makes sense. Oh my God. Of course it has something to do with the greatest allies in the Middle East. You know? So yeah, to those of you out there who are saying Muslims are the problem, I just want you to know that you're right. Muslims are definitely the problem. You know what I mean? Yeah, when you send death threat on the internet and saying that all Muslims are bad, yeah, cops come at your door and ask all these random questions about stuff like that. Yeah. But stay asleep, ladies and gentlemen. You better use your freedom of speech now while you still have it, because it's only a matter of time before they crack down on it. I'm learning a lot about World War II, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to dive much into it, but I'm learning a lot about World War II. And one thing that I gotta say is the rising of the mustache man during World War II. There's a lot of correlation in what's going on today all over the world.
Want to feel about the state of Israel. You can like them, you could not like them. That's not really what I'm getting at here. It doesn't really matter. It's not really relevant in this situation. What matters is that post, which is basically a satirical criticism of her mayor, should be strictly within our constitutional rights. It is strictly within our constitutional rights. And under no reasonable interpretation would it be construed to be a call for violence. Here's what the police chief of Miami Beach had to say about this. His name is Wayne A. Jones. He says, quote, "Given the real ongoing national and international concerns surrounding anti-Semitic attacks and recent rhetoric that has led to violence against political figures," not exactly sure who he's referring to there, but okay, "I directed 2 of my detectives to initiate a brief voluntary conversation regarding certain inflammatory, potentially insightful false remarks made by a resident to ensure that there was no immediate threat to the elected official or the broader community that might emerge as a result of the post." Once again, not sure what false remarks were in that post, seeming all to be pretty factual. He says that the interaction was handled professionally and without incident, which is true because the woman handled it super well. Anyway, he said, "I had serious concerns that our remarks could trigger physical action by others. At no time did the mayor or other elected official direct me to take action. The Miami Beach Police Department is committing to safeguarding residents and visitors while also respecting constitutional rights." Speaking of constitutional rights, the very first inalienable right as laid out by the U.S. Constitution is the right to free speech. But of course, not according to this mayor, who last year threatened to evict a cinema for showing the Oscar-winning film No Other Land, which is a documentary about Palestinian displacement in the West Bank. You guys realize how insane that is, right? And the year prior, he also passed a new law restricting the right to protest, another constitutionally protected right, specifically targeting pro-Palestinian events. He said something along the lines of, "This bill isn't meant to restrict protesting, it's just to protect citizens." But I actually found this clip of Minor, Stephen Minor, the mayor, during a citizens forum debating the bill, demanding that the mic of a Jewish constituent who was speaking out against this bill to be terminated. And when that didn't happen, he then jumps in to just cut her off.
"Please terminate the mic. Please terminate the mic."
Protest is always important. It is and should be part of the air we breathe. And growing up in Miami Beach, it was a part of my life. My parents protested for integration together with Martin Luther King Jr. when he came to South Florida. As a young person in Miami Beach, I joined a protest in support of Soviet Jews and another against the anti-gay crusade of Anita Bryant, among others. Do we really want to move backwards in a city, in our humanity, as a protector of free speech, instead of moving forward? My God, do I wish there were more protests against Nazi Germany when my people, the Jewish people, were being slaughtered by the Nazis.
Are you comparing? I am not going to allow you to compare. I am not going to allow you to stand here and compare the Israeli government to Nazi
government. The Israeli government just now.
You
talked about protests.
You actually did.
There was protest.
It's crazy.
See, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that I put a lot of emphasis on here is the fact that the Zionists are actually pulling more and more Jewish people in more danger than they could possibly think. Believe it or not, they are pulling them in a lot of danger. I mean, you have to understand that the population of the world compared to the Jewish population, is just unimaginable. And based off of the action of the what's going on in Gaza currently, we understand that the whole world is against what's going on over there. But instead of taking a step back and trying, and recognizing what they're doing wrong, instead they're doubling down on it. And so, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that I also want to put a lot of emphasis on is that Zionism is not Judaism. They're not correlated. Zionism was found by Theodor Herzl. Okay, Judaism was thousands of years ago. That's one thing that you guys need to understand. And so, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Theodor Herzl does not believe in God. So now you have an atheist who has found a movement that is not backed up by any faith or religion, has now attached itself to a specific religion, because religion is something that, well, can also be used as a form of a weapon, right? And so now that it has attached itself to a specific religion, it is using those group of people to pretty much dominate an entire region in the world. And anybody and everybody who criticizes a specific group of people, well, you become a target. You become somebody that they deem to be an anti-Semite. When in reality, again, Zionism is not Judaism. They're trying everything in their power to correlate the two. But the reality says it's not the same. And so keep that in mind. And I do want to emphasize this. They are putting Jewish people in a lot of danger. And it's not looking so good for them. I really feel bad for the Jewish people, which is why I'm speaking out about this. I'm speaking out because I care about them and I do not want what happened back in World War II. But the way things are going,
what is happening right now, the movement to pass laws all around this country, limiting the ability of citizens to protest, not our own government here in America, but a foreign government all the way over there in the Middle East.
right?
What is that all about? And then there's also this. Former colleagues say Miami Beach mayor candidate made unwanted advances. In his run for Miami Beach mayor, Stephen Minor has pitched himself to voters as a family man who has put a premium on ethics and respect for his political opponents. But at the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, where Minor had been an enforcement attorney in the Miami office since 2007, 3 former female colleagues told the Miami Herald that Minor made unwanted advances toward them. In 2012, a college intern at the SEC told at least one colleague that Minor had tried to kiss her.
Oof.
The former intern told the Herald last week that Minor invited her to go to dinner at a bar one night after work. Minor, who was then married at the time, made comments during the dinner that were blunt about his attraction to her. The former intern said at one point she said Minor asked to kiss her and leaned toward her, but she moved away. Minor then asked to kiss her again as they were leaving, and she made it clear that she was not interested. Quote, "It caught me off guard. I was immediately stopping it." She said, "I remember saying, 'You're married.'" There's
Oof.
another incident in 2016.
Rejected. You guys also have to understand that a lot of the people who are in power today were a bunch of reject back in schools. Yeah, they were bullied and stuff like that. And so now that they've gained a little bit of power, they are abusing the crap out of it. And of course, somebody who abuses the crap out of their power tend to be, well, extremely easy to compromise. And so this explains a lot of the reason why you got a bunch of ugly ass dudes who are ruling over us. Bunch of PDF files who are ruling over us because, yeah, when you get into that circle, you pretty much put yourself in a position in which, well, I don't want to say it.
Where Minor was working in a case with another attorney, and he told her that he wanted to get a second apartment near the SEC office in Miami, but was, quote, waiting until he has someone to take there. Minor then said he, quote, probably shouldn't say what he was about to say, but that he wants me to be the reason he pulled the trigger and gets the apartment, says the woman in the memo. I immediately told him no, and he thought that I would say that. I told him he needed to leave my office and I was getting back to work, the woman wrote. He lingered in my office and said that he wanted to know that I am one of his closest friends. I ignored him. 2 months after the incident, the woman requested to move to a part-time schedule, saying in an email to her bosses that she was, quote, not entirely comfortable in the workplace and needed additional time. In an April 2016 SEC memo, her supervisor acknowledged that she made the request in part because of the incident of sexual harassment. And the woman's request for a part-time schedule was granted, but for 3 months instead of the full year she had sought. 2 days later, she resigned from the SEC. She told the Herald that she has not practiced law since. It changed the course of my life, she said. Wow. Very disturbing, to say the least. But I want you to guess what his deflection from all of this was.
Anti-Semitism. I swear to God, I haven't watched this video yet, but anti-Semitism.
Okay, here it is. When asked during the campaign about allegations of inappropriate workplace sexual activity, Minor blamed the reports on anti-Semitism and claimed that colleagues were motivated by his pro-Israel stance. Come on, that was his defense?
See, this is the equivalent of a black person getting pulled over for going over the speed limit, and the first thing that comes out of their mouth when they see the cop is, "Oh, is it because I'm black?" There's no difference.
These women were anti-Semites? This is a statement from James Fishback. He is running for governor of Florida. And he says, quote, "I just spoke with the woman that the Miami Beach Police Department confronted over her alleged anti-Semitic Facebook post. Her post did nothing more than criticize the Miami Beach mayor, Stephen Minor, over his support for the Israeli government. In no world could her Facebook post ever be construed as a, quote, incitement of violence, yet that is what the Miami Beach Police Department told her when they banged on her door at home and confronted her over it. This woman is a proud veteran who bravely served in the National Guard from 1993 to 1999. She has called Miami Beach home for 15 years. She is a Democrat. I am a Republican. We might disagree on issues here and there, but she and I agree that every American, black or white, rich or poor, Christian, Muslim, or Jew, has an inalienable right to free speech. Sadly, what this woman went through in Miami Beach is not an isolated incident. It is just the latest example of Democrats and Republicans in Tallahassee attacking our God-given right to free speech in the name of combating anti-Semitism. Let me be clear, all forms of religious hatred should be condemned, but criticism of the Israeli government, just as criticism of our government, is fully protected by the First Amendment of the Constitution." He ends by saying 1984 by George Orwell was a warning, not an instruction manual. And look, here's the deal. I don't condone discrimination of any kind, especially discrimination based on race, religion, country of origin, or any other inalienable trait.
Right.
But what I'm seeing right now is one group of people, a very powerful group of people who represent a foreign interest all the way over there across the Atlantic, all the way over there across the Mediterranean, who are now hijacking the Constitution and weaponizing a race and religion for their own political agenda. And no, we cannot have that here in America. That is it for me this week. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Also, if you want to support my journalism, you can become a member by going over there to my website, 5149jameslee.com. You can also pick yourself up some merch there, but no worries if you're not able to contribute monetarily. Just take a second to like this video, share it with your friends and family, subscribe, hit that notification.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, my final thoughts. So here's the situation, all right? One thing that I do want to say is this is especially to the Jewish communities out there. Any Jewish person who come across this channel and makes it to the end. One thing that I really, really want to put a lot of emphasis on is the fact that you as the Jewish person need to talk. Y'all need to be like Dave Smith or Max Blumenthal or what's his name? That historian. If his name come across my mind, I'll go ahead and tell you guys. But seriously, like y'all need to speak up because this is becoming borderline dangerous. Americans, one thing that I will tell you is Americans don't like being told what to do. I'm going to just go ahead and say that right now. They do not like being told what to do. And what we just saw, if this becomes rampant, if this becomes very, very common, again, why do you think the mustache man rose up in popularity? He was democratically elected. You guys need to understand that he was elected, and based off of the way he was acting, guess what? The German people were with him on that because of the damage that was caused to their country, of the inflation that was caused to their country. Okay, and then the LGBTQ and the sexual change and all these things that was happening to their country. They saw all of these, and they rose up. And now you are doing the same exact thing again here in the United States. And what, you think Americans are just gonna sit idly by and not do anything about it? Again, these people don't like being told what to do. You may get away with it for the time being, but it's only a matter of time now before people, I mean, look what's happening in the past 2 years. Just look around you. The heat is on the Jewish community more than ever today. And despite that, instead of backing down and trying to figure out how they can fix it, they're doubling down by now going into people's door who mention anything about the Jewish community. But, and I just wanted to go ahead and say that, ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, don't forget to leave a like and sub, and I'll catch you guys up in the next video.